All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times.
On the fence. I'm on the fence.
We don't need to talk about that.
Left hook from Yaounde came and landed on him, you know.
King's Court in the building. This is your king, Lord Soggy.
Yes, it's your guy Mardy.
And APL. We're
I
back,
know
baby.
it's not a hallucination. We are actually, all three of us, although virtually on different continents, we're together. We're back.
Indeed, the trio.
The card that has done this, UFC 274. Jeez.
Yes, sir.
Without doubt. I mean, I was watching the Stylebender reviewing this card, and he gave it a 9 out of 10, and I have to agree with him there.
A 9.
He said, on paper, this card is stacked. He said, no offense to all those fight nights that have been recently, but this is what we've been building up to. And when I was looking through the card off the back of his review, I was like, yo, this card's going to be absolute violence.
Let's hope so, man. Let's hope so.
No, the cards this year haven't disappointed, and even when you go into the prelims and the early prelims, I've seen some violence from names I've never heard of. That people are making names for themselves this year, and I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, we've got the lightweight title belt. We got Charlie Olives, my guy, versus Justin the Highlight Wheel Gaethje on the main. We've got the co-main, the women's strawweight title bout. We've got Rolls. Fuck Rolls. His chicken arms.
Always.
Don't break those bones, bro.
If Fuck Rose can do it, I can do it too, baby.
Against the Cookie Monster, Carla Esparza. Then we've got guaranteed violence, Michael Chandler versus Tony Ferguson. That's just disgusting.
Tony's suffering from CTE, man. Why are they doing this to him?
I'm suffering from CTE looking at those names next to each other. I'm getting a headache.
I don't know why they're doing this to him, honestly.
They're trying to kill him. And then I'm calling this like the Hall of Fame corner. We got the light heavyweight bout, Mauricio Rua versus OSP, which is big. And then lightweight bout, Donald Cerrone versus Joe Lazzone. Are you serious? Like, that's just blood. That's just got blood all over it. That's what I'm talking about.
Blood from the past is true.
Yeah. Some of these people shouldn't be fighting. Let's just put it out there now. APL, you're right.
You know what? Once we dive in, I've got some views on what we can do with those kind of fighters. But let's work our way up to the top. Kings, Donald Cerrone versus Joe Lazzone. What we thinking?
I'm thinking this fight shouldn't be on the card. That's literally
the first thing that comes to mind. They're all like 75 million years old. What are they doing? Fighting still? Hey,
brothers have got to get paid. You still got. Remember, you don't get no pension with the UFC. You got no health insurance. You still need to get that money in the bank.
That's true. You've got those fights still left on your contract. They're worth their weight in gold. So I'm not that I don't want to see this fight. I do want to see this fight because these guys are just going to slug it out. Obviously, Joe Lazzone, he's a veteran, so same as Donald Cerrone. From memory, Joe Lazzone, he has got good ground game. He's got good submission game. Well, that's where I think Cerrone could be in trouble if it stays on the feet. Donald's just going to do his thing, which a lot of people teamed off on it.
Well, you cut out a little bit there, Mardy.
Okay. So I just think, so I think if it stays on the feet, Cerrone will be doing to Joe what many others have done to Donald in the last few years, which is just tee off on him and hopefully finish it. So it'll be an interesting one for sure.
I think, I think Donald Cerrone's ground game in terms of defense, I think it's a bit slept on. I think people do think they can just go in. He's still got a wrestling base. People forget that he came from wrestling, and the whole him becoming the king of the ground game is what he's evolved around. But his in terms of like stopping takedowns, he's pretty solid. But I personally think Joe Lazzone, I think he's got if I'm recording, he's quite long in it. He's quite tall. He's got a long reach. He's got big levers. I think he's gonna be a handful. I think I agree with you. Basically, I think whoever loses this fight should just retire anyway.
Yeah, man, because they both just seem like it's just long for them. For me, I personally think Cerrone's losing this one. I think Joe's gonna win.
I can see him getting choked out clean.
Yeah, but then again, it wouldn't surprise me. Like what Mario was saying, it wouldn't surprise me if Cerrone was to win as well. Like, you know what I mean? It's one of those ones. Like, it's not surprising whichever way it goes.
Yeah, it's true. They've been fighting probably as long as each other. Probably like 15 years these guys have been fighting for, coming on to... I'm just excited to see it. Hopefully the referee puts a stop to it at a point. If people are taking damage, like, let's not long out the
Yeah, there's nothing on the line. There's no jeopardy. It's just two guys getting in there for a payday, man.
Actually, yeah, I'm just quickly just going to clean up. Look at their records. So, Cowboys' records have got 36 wins, 16 losses. Joe Lazone's 28 wins, 16 losses. That's a lot of fights between them. Both on 16 L's. Oh,
saying that, you saw my man Clay Guida on was it last weekend or the weekend before? Clay Guida's had like 60 something fights.
It's a lot. So I'm going Joe Lazone. Are we and then what? Marty, you going Cowboy?
I'm going Cowboy. I'm going Cerrone.
I'm going Lozon as well.
We'll see.
I think it's the obvious. It's the favorite, isn't it? Well, I don't know. What is the betting odds? Do we know?
We always do it the American way. I think what's plus? If you're plus, does that mean you're the favorite?
No, you're the underdog. If you're plus, you're the underdog. If you're minus, you're the favorite.
Oh, Joe Lazone's the underdog then.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
Cerrone. Yeah, and actually looking at their stats, Cerrone's the longer fighter. He's taller and longer. I didn't think that. He's 2 inches taller, has the reach as well. The reach advantage of about 2.5 inches. 6'1" versus 5'10". Quite surprised at that.
Interesting. So if you want to make money, Joe Lozon.
Yeah.
Mortgage on it.
Retire quick.
Stock on it.
Retire quick.
Right, we're going to move swiftly on to the light heavyweight bout again. 2 legends. We've got Mauricio Hua versus Ovent St. Preux.
It's interesting. It's interesting because at some point, well, at one point, one of these was the light heavyweight champion, and the other one was literally a hot contender, really hot contender. And yeah, one of them got John Jones, and the other one just literally no. Actually, Ovin St. Preux. Yeah, well, both of them did. It's true. But I remember Ovin St. Preux. I watched him against. It was on the Bisbing card, Bisbing versus Henderson in Manchester, and he was against Jimmy Manuwa. And Jimmy Manuwa, he's a UK-based fighter. A lot of hype was around him. He didn't quite put it, but he got knocked out by Jimmy Manuwa. Yeah. And he thought, okay, Ovin St. Preux there, he's going to go down. And I've not really heard his name in the talk of the top 10, top 15 guys, really. So,
well, let's be honest. That division is absolutely crap, innit? Like, let's just call a spade a spade. I just think that division is full of crap.
What, light heavyweight?
Yeah, man. It's got nothing. It's literally got nothing.
It's a bit aged. There's not.
It's a
bit aged. I'd say there's a lot of experience in light heavyweight, and that's not necessarily a great thing. It's I wouldn't say it's crap, but I mean, there's no, like, to my knowledge, apart from the new Polish guy that Marty loves, and I rate him as well. The guy who had one of the best knockouts of last year. Apart from him, I don't really get excited by it. I kind of agree with you there. It's a very aged division.
There's nothing that gets me up, like it's just even the champion. Fair enough, yeah. Credit where credit's due.
Old man, isn't it?
Yeah, credit where credit's due. But let's be honest, it's not the division's heyday, is it?
And do you know why that is?
Why?
The best that was, the best that is, the best that there is ever to be has left the division. That's why. And now we see it's like Manchester United. Obviously, we had the heyday.
Yeah.
now we see the dregs of the Premier League, really, that nobody really wants to see.
Yeah. I mean, the talent of 205 is just, it's meh. From a fan's point of view, anyways. But I think with this fight, I think if obviously Peru can't get this done, where does he? I don't know where he goes from here.
Yeah.
I think it's another one where both of them, it's this case of, I think now, when we're talking about this fight and the last fight, we're almost in that, the Hall of Fame kind of section of the UFC where when you think of like fake wrestling, i.e. WWE, you know, you've got there's levels. So you're either going for the tag team champions or the not as accomplished wrestlers, but you put them in a 2 and then they can make something happen. You got the world heavyweight champion in WWE, which is like the creme de la creme. Then remember, you've got that tier underneath, which is the intercontinental. It feels now that these legends should be put in their own tier, fighting for the intercontinental championship, where they're never going to be, like we said, top 10, maybe not even top 15, but they can be in that, like we were talking about just off air, between the Premier League and the Championship. They can be that Scottish League gas filler. We can call that the Intercontinental Championship, aka the Hall of Fame kind of walkway.
Yeah, man. No, I agree. Like if obviously Peru can't get this done, I don't know. Like literally, there's no point. I mean, and that's no disrespect to
Let's be honest, these two and the last two, like even with a very impressive win, none of we're not throwing any of them in with the Wolves to be going on a title one or going on a one for any title. But yeah, I suppose this is when you're just looking at fighters who are literally just there to have a bit of fun, keep busy, keep the engine ticking over, and let's be honest, get paid. And it may be a case now where the UFC are making these fights of, a little bit like they do with boxers, where they missed making this fight in their prime. But yeah, let's get two legends to fight each other now because it never happened before, maybe. I don't know.
Do you think this is off the record, right? But I mean, off script. Do you think the UFC is starting to slowly miss out on true stars? Like, in certain divisions, I just feel like in certain divisions, right, the UFC just is losing out on that stardust that was maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
I think light heavyweight is a little bit of an anomaly, because if you think about the other weights and the way that people can in effect evolve, and as you get older, similarly to boxing, you can go up at it's easier for you to go up weights. I think light heavyweight's an anomaly because not many people in general in life are at that level of weighing light heavyweight, where heavyweight you've got the freaks, and then middleweight you've got the average people stroke the bodybuilders, but in light heavyweights that you're big but you're not big enough to be heavyweight, but it's almost that,
particularly when the heavyweight champion is a freak of nature. Like when it was Cain Velasquez, it was easier, wasn't it? It was like, okay, I can get to 230 ish, 240. But when the heavyweight champion has to cut to make the weight limit, it's a different proposition. So I get that.
And I think that might reflect on the age aspect. That's why these guys are all quite senior in age, but they happen to be like heavyweights. So you're not going to get somebody unless you're, again, as much as John Jones was a freak of nature. The fact that he was so young and he was that big, that doesn't happen often. You don't get someone in their early 20s who is an athlete and isn't playing, and in the States isn't playing NFL, isn't playing basketball, and is that big.
Yeah, it was a genetic freak.
Honestly, so you got to give John Jones that credit, where he was a freak of, even Gustafsson, he was a freak of nature in terms of how young he was to be a light heavyweight and not be playing and not be claimed by another sport. So I think it's an element of that. I feel sorry for that weight. I think it's the more I think about it, the more I think it is actually quite haggard. It's probably one of the least exciting divisions right now.
It is.
You've got a 50-year-old as champion. That says it all.
Right now, but actually, be surprised. There are some names coming up in there.
Give us some money. Go on then. Who are you to watch?
Right.
Rakic,
give it to us.
Rakic, he's been beaten in his last 3 fights. He's been beaten once, but Rakic is again. He's a contender to come up. Obviously, we've got Prohaska. He's going to beat. Well, I think he's going to beat Glover. You've got one guy that I want to see more of, but apparently he's retiring. A Scottish guy, Paul Craig, the guy that basically just
He
submits
fought in
everything.
UFC London.
He was on the London card.
Oh, yeah, it's great at submissions. Fantastic. Yeah, I keep hearing that he's going to retire. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. He said, come out and say he's going to retire. Why would you come out and say we're going to retire? He's come on like a 4 fight win streak. Get one more, anything can happen. Again, he fought a guy that he like I think we watched it together. We thought he broke his
Oh,
elbow.
yeah.
Oh, what's his name now?
Forget it, but I know what you're saying, yeah.
He's come back and he's looking sharp. He knocked out Johnny Walker at the start of the year, and he knocked him out bad. That's one to watch as well. And there's a couple of other names. So I think it's just maybe they don't have the
personality. Everyone just said it's great, they're good, but like there's no one that captures the attention. And I'm not saying you have to like talk crap or whatever, because John Jones didn't do that when he first came through. But he was just so good and so young that people were like, oh, who's this? So I don't know for that division. I don't know.
Dudes, bad dudes.
But I'm gonna go for, purely because he has to win to prove a point, I'm gonna go for Ovin St. Preux. Purely because he has to win. Like, you can't let. How old is Shogun Rua now?
Literally, I think he's maybe like 38. Like,
like literally, he's old. Like, so if OSP can't do it, then forget him, man.
it's a long.
I can't find his age now.
Must be in his 40s. He must be in his 40s.
No, I'm gonna say, oh my gosh, yeah, you're right, dead on 40.
Yeah. You can't let a 4-year-old man beat you up, man. No way.
Tell Glover that.
OSP
over that.
What, mid-30s?
Let's see. I think OSP
33?
Let's have a look.
Fine.
Let's throw some guesses out there. I'm gonna say 34.
Yeah, I'm 33.
35.
I'm being so slow.
I'm going for OSP as well. I'm going for him for the win.
Sure, because he has to.
Almost identical records. I mean, Shogun 27 wins, 12 defeats. Wow. I remember when that guy was absolutely just tearing.
When it was a god. Yeah.
And then OSP 25 wins, 16 defeats. So that's some very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the age.
World champion, and he's not in the UFC anyway.
We're all off. They're almost age mates. OSP's 38.
No way.
38.
Wow.
You know.
So this is again an Intercontinental Legends fight officially.
Wow, but OSP's not even a legend though. Like, let's put respect on Shogun's name, man. Like, they're not in the same stratosphere. Wow. Okay, so that throws me off a bit now.
Yeah, combined age of 78 right there.
OSP, still going for OSP. He gets it done. He gets it done here.
No, but I was going for it because I thought it was a younger man. That's thrown me off.
Couple of years might make all the difference still at that age.
Yeah, okay, I'm sticking. Yeah, I'm sticking.
Yeah.
Old Soggy.
If I have to pick one, I'm gonna go Shogun. I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna go Shogun.
By the way, whilst we're guessing, should we start at like a table for like who guesses it right? And at the end of the year, we'll have like something.
Let's start a
prediction league table, yeah. Because I'm woeful, by the way. Because the reason I said this because my predictions have been way off.
You need skin in the game to really think about your decisions, basically.
I'm telling you, man.
All right, cool, guys. All right, we've started off with that. That was the Intercontinentals. Let's get excited now. Ultimate Violence lightweight bout. Michael Chandler versus Tony Ferguson.
I'm not entertained.
Number 5 versus number 7. To be honest, I feel like this is going to be bye Ferguson. I feel like Chandler is going to absolutely tee off on him. I don't think Ferguson will quit. I think it's going to be ugly. I think the referee's just going to be like what Herb Dean did the other week. He's going to be like, when Volk against Zombie. I see it ending like that, where the referee just goes, "Look, bro, your time is up. I can't see you take any more." I just see a really grotesque injury. I'm thinking a little bit of Johanna with the hematoma on the head. I'm thinking Michael Chandler absolutely tees up on him. Ferguson historically doesn't check kicks. Michael Chandler, if he'd kept on kicking Justin Gaethje in that last fight after those first couple of rounds, could have been a little bit different. Remember that those kicks were snappy. Because Gaethje was kicking him harder, he stopped kicking, and I thought, why have you stopped kicking? You're onto something here. I feel Ferguson's going to get tore up. And I don't. He's being handed to the wolves. I know he's ranked number 7, and you shouldn't say, "Oh, 5 versus 7 is close," but I just think, Ferguson's coming off 3 massive defeats. I know China's coming off 2, but
who's Ferguson's last fight? Who's that?
He's lost to Gaethje. He's lost to Charlie Olives, and then there was another one.
The last one was particularly bad, though. Who was that? Beneil Dariush.
Yes.
Yeah, especially, you know what I mean? Yeah, man. There's only one way. There's only one way this ends.
We need to make this entertaining. Someone disagree. Someone right now has to back Ferguson.
Whilst you were saying that, in my mind, I was like, have we forgotten who this guy is? Like, at one point, he was the Grim Reaper of this division.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Boogeyman. He was the one to beat Khabib. I don't care what anyone's saying. He was the one.
The Boogeyman. Okay, he was called the Boogeyman. I did like that nickname. That was a cool nickname. So for everyone to be referencing you as the Boogeyman, that's saying avoid. Right now, dude's a punch bag.
No, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, he went off, but at one point he was the guy. Cause when you were listing the whole thing about Chandler and stuff, I was like, well, have we forgotten who this guy is? And then that's where I asked. I said, who is his last loss to? And you told me Beneil Dariush. I was like, yeah, it's all right.
Sleeping on Beneil.
No, I'm not.
Because I still want to see Beneil versus Islam. And in the top five, I think, well, we'll get to the main event, but in terms of being able to beat Islam, I only think there's certain people that can do that. I think Beneil is one of the few people that can do that. I think Islam walks through 95% of that top 5.
I don't think Beneil Dariush and Islam is close. I genuinely don't. My life, I don't. You know the guy we're talking about when we say Tony was that guy. That guy beats Beneil Dariush every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Oh yeah, and
so that's what I mean.
And he beats Makhachev.
For sure. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But it's completely different now. It's completely different. And when Islam and I know we're going off piece a bit and we're talking about Islam and Beneil Dariush, but Dariush he's that guy. He's that guy.
He's good. He's good. But I remember that fight. I remember Beneil Dariush piecing up Tony, standing up. I'm like, this is not the Tony I remember.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't happen to him. So if you're getting pieced up by Beneil Dariush on the feet, Chandler's just gonna.
Let's get excited. I just want to bring some excitement. I'm glad you're giving Ferguson a little bit of credit. Let's talk about the good credit Ferguson's got in the bank of what if we look past the 3 fights. So obviously his last win unfortunately was June 2019, and when you say it like that, you're like, wow, that's you ain't won. We're in 2022 now. You ain't won since 2019. But let's go back to when that amazing one started and when he was definitely on our radar as the boogeyman, as the guy. So Ultimate Fighter finale, December. Remember Edson Barbosa? He won that submission. That was fantastic. I remember that. Then I don't remember this guy. Ferguson versus Banata. He beat him. Ferguson beat him. Then he beat Dos Santos decision.
Yeah,
that's big.
Mm-hmm.
He beat Kevin Lee submission.
Big. Yeah, that was hyped. That was hyped. In context, that was hyped up as a massive fight. Yeah, I remember that.
He was,
mate. And then we getting exciting. He beat Pettis, our guy Pettis, KO.
Yeah. That was a good fight, by the way, because Pettis came back at some points in that fight.
Second round, UFC 229. He beat Cerrone. That's his last win, though. June. That was a TKO round 2. June the 9th, 2019. UFC 238, and then since then, obviously, he had that disgusting injury where he trip over like a cable in the run up to one of the Khabib fights and tore his knee. Then he was out. Remember, he was out. So in that time, he's probably been out 2 years of the 4 he hasn't had a win. But then comes back in 2020, loses to Gaethje. That was disgusting. That was absolute. Just got absolutely softened.
That was a clip. Yeah.
Probably lost a part of his soul because you remember. Oh, and do you remember? It was an empty arena. It was COVID times. It was in Abu Dhabi.
Everything.
And you could hear everything. Oh,
I remember it vividly. Like, literally, as you say, like a picture in my head. Like, peace.
Stop it. Stop it. when a guy shakes his head like there's cobwebs in there. No. No, when he's like this. Yeah. I'm like, no, please by the way, stop this.
Just to go back, right? You know when you said the Pettis fight? Pettis, I think he won that purely off confidence and it was, I'm the guy and you're not going to beat me because I'm in my moment. Pettis was close to beating him, by the way. Like in that first round, it swung back and forth, and obviously goes on to beat Thing. But then I think you could see the signs of things just because he was pushing for that title. That you could see signs of him starting to fatigue a bit. And obviously now it's really come home to roost.
Lost to Gaethje, lost to Olives, lost to Darwish. So yeah, I mean,
is there an argument to say those 3 they're not bums? Like it's not like he's fighting. No. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like he's fighting.
No, they're all you know, they're all contenders at the end of the day.
So maybe,
and he's still ranked 7.
So we have to bear that in mind. Maybe I don't think it's gonna be a walkover, but I just think given results, obviously Chandler's lost the last 2, obviously, but given where they both are, I only see it going one way, really.
And to give Ferguson again a little bit of confidence and hope. Chandler's probably lost a part of his soul in those defeats, especially that one to Gaethje. That was ferocious.
The way he lost both of them, just the manner in which he lost them,
So, but I think that he's got more of his soul left intact versus Ferguson.
It does, because maybe let's say he tags Ferguson early, maybe he replays in his mind that he did that before and he got knocked out. You know what I mean? Like maybe that plays in his mind and he doesn't rush in, and maybe that gives Tony some opportunities to recover.
He needs to think about the strategic, I think, and it depends what Ferguson turns up. But yeah, for me, I'm going for a Chandler win.
I'm aligned there. Iron Mike for the win for me. APL.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Tony for a submission.
Oof.
I'm taking it out there. Are
you thinking the fact that it's not a 5-round fight as well helps Ferguson out?
Yeah, and the fact that Chandler will be coming into it with he's not coming into it overly confident. He's lost his last 2. He can't come into overly confident, and he may be a bit hesitant, which I think he'll give. Tony's best when his opponent's hesitating and he's getting to the. If he lets Tony get into the groove, it's a long day. I don't care who you are. Like it just doesn't. If you let Tony get into the groove of things and he starts to feel himself, it's a long, long day.
Oh, I don't think Chandler's going to. I personally think Chandler's going to come in, explode straight out of the block. I feel like his confidence hasn't been rocked. I feel like he's going out to make a statement and create a piece of artwork on Ferguson's legs and his face. I think he's going to come out absolutely like he did against Dan Hooker. I don't think there's going to be no hesitancy. I think he's going to come out like an absolute animal. And you know, apparently from the watching the build up, Ferguson apparently has gone back to wrestling and he's reconnected with his high school wrestling coach. And apparently, he's building a wrestling base again. So don't know if that's legit, but I was shocked at that. I was like, oh, really? Okay, that's different.
I mean, he doesn't want to get pieced up constantly, so that makes sense. I'm going Tony. I'm sticking with Tony.
Tony sub.
You forgot about this table that we just said we are going to do, yeah?
No, it's firmly in my mind. I'm going to actually let me note down what we're. Let me note down. Right, okay.
Fantasy football.
We'll text out our things afterwards, and I'll keep a note of it.
It will be documented.
Cool. Lovely. I think we might have. Do we have time to do the co-main?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
course we have to.
Cool. So,
I'm excited about
women's strawweight title bout. Thug Rose versus Cookie Monster Carla Esparza. Co-main event. Whew.
But very interesting one. Very interesting one. Again, I'm a fanboy. You know, I'm a Thug Rose fanboy. I think probably a lot of us are. For me, I thought this is a rematch, obviously. Esparza beat her in the Ultimate Fighter, which was a bit of a shock. And I was thinking, Carla, really? I've not really seen much of her since. I was thinking this is going to be easy night for Rose. But just watching some of the fights back, she's been dogging these girls. She's been taking them down, just overpowering them, wrestling them, ground and pound. That's her road to victory. But I don't think she can do that with this new look Rose. I don't think she can do that. I think it's going to be a Trevor Whitman one. His first one for the night. Yeah.
As you say, I think the evolution of Thug Rose has been something marvelous to see, actually. She's one of those fighters that epitomizes a modern day UFC athlete. And I'm not saying Esparza's not. I just feel as though the levels since they both fought is very clear to see who's evolved the most of the two. Thug Rose.
Yeah, for me, what they fought first times, I think it was 7 to 8 years ago. I think at the time, if you remember, I loved that series. It was it Ultimate Fighter? It was the season 20, and I think Rose was the favorite. She when you go through I think Tisha Torres was on a. She got done. She absolutely went through that list and mullered everyone impressively as well. And didn't get it hurt. I think with the Ultimate Fighter, her execution was to go in there, beat the girls very quickly, take as little damage as possible, so she could just get through. And that, I think I remember her being considerably the favorite. And then I think when Carla walked in, everyone looked at her and thought, yeah, she ain't about that life. She came in really kind of stoic. She obviously we're familiar with her walkout now, where she comes out super calm and just. And then I think I remember seeing her, and I think even Pat Barry said it in the build-up, where when we looked at her, we thought, yeah, we've got this. Got this done. And then the monster came out of the cookie, and she's a West. The thing is, I think. I agree. The evolution of Rose since then has been on another level. She's great everywhere, where Carla's just got wrestling. But I also have a feeling that Carla's going to have the gas tank to go literally be like Kobe, takedown after takedown. That's all she's got, and that's what she has to do. So it's going to be a case of Rose's wrestling has also stepped up considerably since then. She's taken everyone down since Carla. So that's going to be interesting. In terms of, obviously it's over 5 rounds. That relentless Kobe push. If she's got that gas tank, it'll be interesting to see if in the championship rounds Rose can still dictate how things go down on the ground and block those takedowns. I think that's where it could get interesting. But I also don't see it getting to the championship rounds. I see Rose taking her out in round 3 with a head kick, to be honest.
Same. I see it finishing, but it stops. It doesn't go the full distance. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
But in Carla's favour, I think if she's got the game plan to a T, it will be right now because she had extra time. Remember, the fight was meant to be scheduled before, and then she got a cut in that grappling tournament, and I'm sure that's why they had to push it back. Remember, she got that really bad cut at the beginning of the year. So this fight, she's had longer to build up to it, and I'm hoping that to make it a more compelling fight, she's just worked on her cardio to basically come in like a mini Kobe Covington and just be relentless. Because without that, it's just going to be light work for Rose. I really don't see Carla touching her with hands or feet. It's just going to be wrestling versus basically a martial artist who can do it all.
Yeah. I think I'm going for a Rose win. I do think actually there's potential it can go the rounds. It can go 5 rounds and for a decision. It just depends what Carla is able to implement on the night. But yeah, I'm going for a Rose W.
Same. Yeah.
And then after that, what does that tee up for Rose?
It tees up a lot. We know Thingy's coming back. If that fight's been booked, Joanna versus, is it Whaley?
That's got to be done. Yeah, winner gets Rhodes for me. That fight, I cannot wait. After the first one, fight of the year. Oh, what 2020? Remember, it was 20. Yeah, it was literally when lockdown was happening. That fight was happening on the weekend before lockdown. I just remember it clearly, and I was like, "This forget female fight of the year. This is fight of the year, full stop." And then it got it. That fight was ferocious.
That was savage. Yeah, it was savage.
Ridiculous. Yeah. It has to be because Rose, she's done. She's beating a lot of the strawweight division. It has to be one of those.
Fighting Carlo again. This is testimony to her doing laps, basically.
Massively.
Yeah.
So all three of us. That's really sorry, listeners and watchers. We seem to be agreeing on everything today.
Yeah, that's why I had to give Tony one.
Arguments.
I had to give Tony one.
And then we get into the main event, the lightweight title fight.
Ooh,
Charlie Olives
agreement.
Bronx versus Justin the Human Highlight Will Gaethje. Wow. Where do we start? Because for me, this fight was meant to be in Brazil as well, but now it's taking place in Arizona, which is actually Justin's home state. It's where he was born.
Ah, okay.
Really?
Interesting. Interesting.
Go for it, APL.
The first thing that comes to mind is Trevor Whitman for some reason, because I just think he is
trainer of the year as well last year.
Yeah, and I just think he's elite, man. Like just in terms of the game plans he puts into place. That's the first thing that comes to mind. I'm like, what's he got cooked up for Oliveira? Like, what are they going to come in and try and do? Because he's almost Pep-like in his to use a football analogy. Like, he can overthink things, but also like he gets them right more often than not. So, what game plan do they have, and how do they win it? And for me, right, I'm still not yet convinced by Oliveira's title reign.
Oh my goodness. Yes, we're gonna argue at last.
I'm not. I swear I'm not.
Wow. I'm packing my stuff. I'm going.
Wow.
It's wild to say, but I'm still not convinced on his title reign.
Wow.
Like, he's defended it twice, yeah?
Yes.
We don't even need to speak about his title reign. We can speak about his unbeaten run.
No, yeah, that's fine, but he's champion now and it's different. But he's had two. It's been Chandler and who was the other one?
Poirier.
Chandler and Poirier, yeah. Look, the Chandler one, he's a couple of minutes away from losing.
No doubting that, but remember when everyone's referred to this guy as a quitter, and everyone's forgetting that he was a quitter at the division below this one, and his record initially was 10 wins, 8 defeats. Since then, the guy hasn't lost because he's at the right weight, and now he has the right mentality, and he's older, and people forgetting that the dude has been in the UFC probably longer than so many of the fights. He was fighting when he was like 19, 20, 21. Only 3 of his fights have been outside of the UFC. All of his career has been in the UFC.
Yeah, that's wild.
That in itself is nuts.
And that's
the highest level.
Yeah.
So he's been learning in the UFC when usually by default, we're watching these fighters learning, getting their 20 fights in Cage Warriors and the smaller promotions, or the older generations coming into the UFC with 15 fights already in WEC or Pride or whatever. He's learned in the UFC. He's basically UFC through and through.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm still not convinced on his title reign. So the only reason why I'm swaying towards Gaethje is purely because of his coach. Like, and obviously has a skill set. He's good enough to beat Oliveira alone. But I think the coaching. Where does Oliveira train? What camp is he with?
Oh, shooter box.
Shooter box.
Okay. Come on.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I completely forgot.
Legendary. Diego Lima, Anderson Silva. Oof.
But you think that the setup with Trevor Whitman is because he just focuses on like one person or like a limited roster of people.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I've got something. I feel something in my bones.
No, I know what you mean. No, I mean, but it's just nah. So we've had all of these Trevor Whitman fight night, cards sort of thing where he does 3-0, 3-0 Trevor Whitman. It stops here.
Yeah.
It stopped here. I'm sorry. It's the competition that you're up against. Chandler is one thing. Poirier, actually, he lost to Poirier Gaethje. Khabib, obviously, it's going to be a long night for him with Khabib. Some of these other names, it's Charles Oliveira. He is on a different level at the moment in time. He literally is. And the thing that really annoys me, and I'm not saying it's you, the amount of people that absolutely disrespecting that was calling Poirier the champion.
Yeah.
What kind of nonsense was that?
The champion without a belt.
It's rubbish. It was absolutely rubbish, and that was so disrespectful. Yeah, he gets hit. Gaethje does have that one hit knockout power. He does, but he doesn't give up anymore as we saw before. We know he's going to get hit. Sometimes it takes him to get hit to actually start off.
Wake him up. And I said that. I said that before. I've said that literally because look how thick his prescription is in his glasses. I think when he gets hit, it straightens his vision, and then he can see. And then from there, round 2 and 3, he's piecing you up. Look what he did to Chandler. He put Chandler, the heavy hitter, to sleep with a left jab. That's what floored Chandler. So yes, I get the fact that Gaethje's power. Gaethje didn't knock out Chandler. Gaethje didn't knock out Poirier. So I'm thinking Olives has knocked out these guys or submitted them. He's finished the same guys that Gaethje's taken to decision. So that tells me that his power, even his power on his stand-up, is underrated. He put Chandler down with fist and finished him with fist, not a submission.
Yeah, for sure, but MMA maths is madness, isn't it? It's one of those things that you may well be right, and I'm sure Oliveira is the favorite for this. I'm sure, for sure.
The thing is, he probably isn't. It always he hasn't been the favorite. So since he's been in that title running, he's like the one champion that he doesn't go in as a champion and the favorite for some reason.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. Usman as well sometimes, and we could have made a lot of money on Usman.
People still underrate him.
Even that first thing he fight, what's his name? Gamebred.
Wow, I didn't see the bet because obviously I didn't see the bet notes.
I'm sure people are underrating him there, but yeah, I think Charlie obviously I think there's just more ways for him to win. Gaethje
I agree with
out. He has to finish it. It's going to be a long night if he's trying to do that, and I think you're right. It's going to be a chess match for Trevor Whitman, and he's going to see how he can solve the puzzle of Oliveira. But I just think I think Gaethje is that guy. Where I said Dustin Poirier is not that guy, I think Gaethje actually is that guy.
He's got that dog in him.
Gaethje, I see Gaethje putting Charlie Olives on his bum at least 2 to 3 times in the first. And I think he's going to come out in the first round like an absolute whirlwind. I think even Charlie Olives knows this, but unfortunately he won't be able to adjust quick enough because he's just going to be on him. It'll knock him down 2 or 3 times, similar to what has happened against Chandler, for example, and Poirier. Round 2 and 3, reassess, reset, bang. The snake that he is will get his back, game over. Yeah. Gaethje's tapping out, just like he tapped out against Khabib. And he was one of those guys who used to say, I'll never tap out. Well, you tapped out. And Khabib was going soft on you because your parents were there. And he said that. So he's getting tapped out. I don't think rounds. I can see end of round 3, beginning of round 4, fight's done. He's getting submitted.
He's getting finished.
And to be honest, even in the build-up, actually, Charlie Olives is talking about a knockout. So he might be, and I wouldn't put that past him because he's done it he's doing it to people now. He's even saying, I'm going to knock him out. Sometimes fighters need like that for their ego. They're thinking, oh, you just expect me to go out and submit him. I'm going to go out and play the chess game.
If I was an Oliveira fan, I wouldn't like that as a sign. I don't know. It may be nice. It may be good to see, but I think he's not. I don't think he's the guy to talk like that. Maybe because English is not his first language or whatever, but it just doesn't strike me as a guy that would. Or maybe he's just getting confidence. He's like, I'm here now.
But also looking to some of the things Gaethje said about him in the last few years, he's always calling him a quitter. It's not until he locked down the fight he started being respectful. So up to that point, Gaethje was being a little bit, oh, you're a quitter, blah blah blah. Once a quitter, always a quitter, all the rest of that stuff. So maybe that's why he's becoming a little bit vocal, whether that's in Portuguese or not. He said, I'm going to go out and knock him out.
Yeah,
that's what Charlie Oliveira said. I don't think he will. I personally don't think you're going to knock out Gaethje. I think even with a stat just today where they were saying that Gaethje has the highest bone density out of any UFC fighter. So that he's not just solid, he's scientifically solid. So for me, I don't think he's knocking him out, but I do think he might set him up with fists, buzz him, and then that's it. You know, he loves a good choke, and that's it. He's sinking that in, and Gaethje's tapping.
No, it's true. It's true. That second round against Poirier, he beat Poirier up. He got him to the ground, and he took a beating. And we remember what Poirier said, and his coach said, "Don't give him your back." That's why Poirier was so comfortable, just to lay it on his back and take that beating. I think maybe Gaethje, if he goes to the ground with him, Gaethje won't just lay on his back. He won't.
No, it takes more risks. Yeah, Gaethje takes more risks.
And the other thing you can't, he's such a snake. He knows what he's doing, and he'll just, I think he can do that damage to Gaethje. It's going to be a very good fight, and I think it's going to be a closer one than him and Chandler. I think it's going to be a closer one than him.
Thank you. At least in that,
Oh yeah, it's going to be close. And like I said, it's not going to be a walkover. I like I said, I think he's going to get knocked down multiple times. I think Gaethje's going to get his hands on him, and it's going to be like, oh my gosh, he's going to get up. Oh, is he good? And then once his eyes readjust, like I said, once he locks in, and I think it's going to be like I said, right, round 3 onwards. He's gonna pour it on him. He's gonna the snake that he is, and then I think if Gaethje does it. But to be honest, you raise a good point. Maybe we're just thinking Gaethje's gonna come out like the Gaethje that we know. Maybe Trevor Whitman is gonna give him a very much an intelligent and a calculated game plan where we're all shocked and he comes out doing things completely different. That could definitely still
similar to Ferguson,
because at the end of the day, Gaethje's also a wrestler, could that be an element? Although, do you really want to take the snake to the ground, even in the wrestling format? No, you do not. But maybe the leg kicks are going to be, a weapon that will be utilized in the early rounds.
That's what I was literally going to say, right? Because I rewatched the Khabib fight not long ago, and he was maybe 2 or 3 more good leg kicks away from taking that leg away from Khabib.
Taking the base, I'd say about 3. I agree.
Literally, he was so close, and 3 is obviously a lot, but to Khabib, you're so close. And of course, Khabib's a freak of nature and all that stuff. But if he can implement, as I say, if Trevor was come up with a game plan, he just needs to stick with that. Don't be in the emotions of I'm in my home state, blah blah blah. And how many times would he have fought for the title now? Is it 3rd or 2nd?
Yeah, he was interim. He was an interim at one point, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah, he didn't take it, did he? So, so maybe if he doesn't if he doesn't get into that emotion, I want Gaethje to get in there, be cold, and just stick to the game plan. Because I know Trevor Whitman will give him something. It'll be cooking up something.
And I think that could be the one variable where it makes it interesting and not as predictable as we're all calling it.
Yeah.
To throw into the mix. Hey, Charlie Oliveira knows how to kick as well, so
true. By the way, let's get this right. Oliveira is the better all-round fighter.
He's complete.
Yeah, complete. Like I'm not even gonna debate that. He's the better all-round fighter. If you're picking somebody to fight for you, you'd pick him. But things happen.
Gotta mix it up.
Yeah, things happen.
So
and I like Gaethje. I do.
Oh, same.
Some of the things he says I don't like. Because some of the things I think, okay, he needs to be more respectful. I'm sorry, Gaethje, though. It's not your night, and this may be the last chance he gets for it.
That's what I'm concerned about, yeah.
I am going, even these Trevor Whitman star people, Charlie Olives, and still set up the match with Islam.
Fair enough.
Fair
enough. Yeah, I'm going Gaethje, and I think either way, it doesn't go the distance. If it does, I'll be astonished. So I'm going Gaethje to stop him.
I'm gonna walk the apple cart. I love Charlie Olives. I've just got a feeling that the game. I think there's going to be a game plan. Honestly, I think there's going to be a game plan that is going to shock the world. I think they're gonna start and we're gonna be like, hold on, what's Gaethje doing? I think it's gonna. I want to play the dark horse, and I think I want to see this rematch in Brazil with the Brazilian fans. I want to see instant rematch, and I want to see them go at it. I love Charlie Olives. Don't want to see. I think he's built a legacy himself, and I think this win. I think it needs to be a bit of a series. I want to see Gaethje have the actual belt, because I agree, if he doesn't win, it's over for him. So just out of sentiment, I want Gaethje to do it, but I want Charlie Olives to take him to Brazil and get that belt back in front of his people straight away. Yeah. So for now, I'm giving it more to Trevor Whitman than I'm giving it to Gaethje.
100% same. 100%. As I said, Oliveira is the better fighter for sure. He is, but Trevor Whitman's the MVP for a reason, man.
Let's just remember, obviously, he's done wonders with Usman. He's done wonders with Rose. Under Trevor Whitman, Rose has lost 2 fights.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
She got planted on her head and she got beaten up by Carl Esparza.
But that wasn't a technical. It wasn't like she lost on like strategically. Do you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like she lost through a lack of instruction. It was just she got planted on her head and she got knocked out.
This is what MMA is.
Sure.
What MMA is. Obviously, he lost to Khabib. He lost to Poirier.
Yes.
And with Trevor there.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I think this is Gaethje's last chance. I think Gaethje's got one more chance. I think
pull out the bag, man.
I think he's literally going to die trying this time around, and then I think he'll somehow do it. And then I'm not saying he'll knock. I don't think he'll knock out Charlie Olives. I think he'll sit him down a few times. I personally feel Charlie Olives' mentality is I can't get knocked out anymore. I feel like he's got that confidence. I think we've seen it in his chin. I don't think he gets knocked out, but I'm thinking there's going to be a crazy game plan that can only be executed once, i.e. this time. Honestly, it's got to be so. It's literally one night only, because if he tries to do it in a rematch, Charlie Olives now knows I know what you can do apart from the usual brawlers type. Yeah. He's got one chance, and this is Saturday.
For what it's worth, I agree. For what it's worth, I agree. I think if Gaethje beats him, he loses the rematch for sure. Because Oliver is the better fighter, and at the end of the day, the better fighter usually always wins. So yeah, Marty might be the only.
I'm mixing it up. I'm mixing it up.
Yeah. He might be the only right one.
Fairy tales are flying away. This is real life, boys.
This is probably sentiment. I love them. To be honest, I love them both. I probably love Charlie Olives a little bit more, but I love that camp, and I think there's going to be something special. I think we're going to see a different Justin Gaethje. I don't know how, don't know what is going to happen. I just think something different is going to come out of the box where everyone's going to be like, what? Huh?
Because let's just remember, the fight with Ferguson, none of us expected that.
Oh, it's true.
None of us expected that clinic of like him just absolutely being. It was more the sense of he wasn't smothering what he was doing, because usually Gaethje like and he just smothers.
Clean with it.
Yeah, it was just so smooth. It was like you can tell he's been told whatever you do, keep your distance, legs, body, head, feints. Like he was just telling him. So
no phone, don't get in the phone box. And then with Chandler, you just got emotion. I think with Chandler,
he was just long.
But then even when you rewatch the fight with Chandler, it's Chandler taking all the damage. It's not as much. It's not Gaethje as much as you think it. Look at the faces at the end. It's Chandler who's getting pieced up. Who just gets pieced up constantly. He's still relatively clean with it. Yes, he gets into the phone box, and I think at least 2 or 3 times you see Gaethje's legs going. You're like, oh, whoa. But compared to the Gaethje we're very aware of, that's him being relatively clean with it. Not as clean with it as he was against Ferguson, but even against Chandler, even though that was in a phone box, he was dishing out the punishment. He wasn't taking it.
There we have it, fellas.
There you go.
There we have it.
But I think, like we started out by saying, I think UFC 274 is going to be violence. That octagon is going to be just blood spill everywhere.
Baby. And maybe we could try have a review on it. I don't know whether will all be available, but I'll be keen. I'm super keen to see how this ends. Super keen.
Oh, definitely. I want to collect that egg from Chins. Definitely. Make it into an omelette. Good morning.
It's end of the year, Marty. So don't be counting your eggs before they hatched. Yeah, just.
I don't care about the rest of them. I care about Charlie Olive.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, mate. It's a marathon.
Absolutely.
It's true.
Cool. Right. These are your three kings. King's Court. Thank you for watching, listening. This is Lord Soggy.
And your guy Marty.
APL and court is adjourned, people. Peace.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times.
On the fence. I'm on the fence.
We don't need to talk about it.
Left hook from Yaoundé came and landed on him, so.